Live. Hi, guys. We have had some technical issues. And do you hear the echo? Kareem, do you hear the
No, I
echo?
don't hear an echo.
Okay. Well, hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of our Facebook Live series. Thank you for being patient with us. I had a case in the office, and I was not done on time. So I am the reason why we're starting an hour late, and then we've had some technical issues since then. But even better, we have a very special guest, actually two very special guests, Dr. Kareem Osman, and he is going to introduce Christine. But I mean, Kareem has been a big part of this community for a while, and he has achieved wild success in just the first year of practice. So make sure to hop on, make sure to ask your questions. This is interactive. He has prepared a slideshow presentation because he's just awesome like that. So, without further ado, Kareem, what is your story? How are you, friend?
I am good, Dr. Hovis. How are you? How is beautiful sunny California treating you?
It's actually
Me and,
really nice weather right
me and
now.
Christine are jealous.
That we are.
Well,
Yeah, no, the weather's been awesome, but thank goodness we don't have smoke right now.
Mm.
Crazy.
first of all, I just want to thank you for putting this together. I want to thank Christine for taking the time out. Um, it's 8 o'clock on our time zone right now, and I'm just so fortunate and grateful to have such amazing people around me that are always willing to like take it to the next level and help me push myself to take it to the next level. So thank you both ladies so much for everything that you guys do for our community and our profession. And I really genuinely mean that. And just thank you to everyone that's watching for taking the time out of their busy schedule to tune in. I created a little presentation that I would like to share with you guys to kind of give everybody an agenda of what they should expect. Can you guys see my screen?
I'm sharing it in now. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So the title of this talk is 0 to 1 million in 12 months. And I was really, I really thought a lot about what we should talk about when you reached out to me, Dr. Ashley, and you told me like, hey, let's do something together. And I'm gonna start off with this brief agenda on the different things that we'll be talking about today: mindset, the phone call, the best marketing company, and we'll leave some time for Q&A. And this title, from 0 to 1 million in 12 months, I actually want to take a step back and tell our viewers that are watching that the normal practice does not go from 0 to 1 million in 12 months. And that when you're on these groups and you're hearing doctors say, I get 100 new patients a month, and I see and I'm doing all these millions of dollars in revenue, that's not normal, guys. And when when you're a new startup owner and you feel like things are so tough and that why am I not achieving those things? Those are the outliers. But there's things that I'm going to share with you guys today, Christine and I, on how you can tip the scale to your favor so that you can get to that first $1 million in revenue as fast as possible. The stars have to really align for you to be able to do it in the first year. And it is absolutely doable. But I really wanted to be clear, Dr. Ashley, before we get started and share this quote from Steve Jobs and really calibrate everybody's mindset going into this discussion tonight. That when we look at other people and we look at other organizations and we look at other companies and we look at other dental practices and we look at other professionals, it almost seems like, oh my God, how did these guys figure it out so perfectly? What is the magic roadmap that they follow? What is that one forum? What is that one group? What is that one post that they just followed to the T and they were able to reproduce that success? And the truth is, there is no magic formula. There is no magic book. There is no magic roadmap. There is no magic plan that you just follow and you get to 0 to 12 in 1 million. And I really hope that after tonight's discussion with the specific things that Christine and I have planned on sharing with you guys, is taking these little gems and allowing you to level up your mindset and your skill set so that you can get to 0 to 1 million in possibly as little as 12 months. And Steve Jobs said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. So when we see this grand, office that's generating so much revenue and everything just looks like it runs like a well-oiled machine, yes, of course, there's plans and there's ideas and there's things that people try to put into place so that they can achieve that success predictably. But no one ever really has the exact plan in place. And that's coming from the founder and forefather and the guy that we look as the man that revolutionized, the digital, technology, cell phone era as we know of today. So I just really wanted to be really, really mindful of sharing that. If your practice is not seeing these crazy numbers, don't feel bad. It's actually use it as an opportunity to learn on how you can be able to tap, how you can make small changes to allow you to pivot and transition into getting to that type of success. And anyone on this podcast tonight, on this video tonight, if they need help, I'm more than willing to help them absolutely free of charge. They can always reach out to me on Facebook. So many of them already do. They always message me. I love helping you guys. I love trying to do whatever it takes to really, allow you to take it to the next level. No gimmicks, no strings attached. There's so many people here that know that I help them. I absolutely expect that I want nothing in return. All I want is just to see my colleagues successful. And I've been so fortunate to have amazing people in my life that have helped me, get to where I am today. So I love sharing it and I love seeing other people win. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce Christine. Christine is an absolute superstar. We recently actually were fortunate enough to bring her into my practice as the operations director. And Christine is what you call, a secret weapon. When you're ready to scale your practice into the next level, you bring a person like Christine onto your team. When you're ready to open up maybe a second location, you bring a person like Christine onto your team. When you're ready to, grow your business, you bring a person like Christine onto your team. And the first thing that Christine told me when I was talking with her, it seems like a few short weeks, months ago, when we were first, talking about her joining, was she told me at my last practice, I took it from doing $3 million a year to doing $6 million a year in less than 2 years. And Christine is going to share some of those things that she was able to implement and some of the things that are required for you to be able to grow your business and take it to that level. So I'm going to hand over the mic to Christine. I'm sure she'll introduce herself better than I can ever introduce her. I'm so humbled and fortunate to have her on my team. And, without further ado, Christine, please take over the mic.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. I am equally grateful, to be working with Dr. Osman right now. He has a very, very unique practice that is, ready to explode, and it's always exciting for me when I can join a practice, and know the type of change that is possible. I've worked in the dental industry for 35 years. I started as a dental assistant. I did that for 3 months. I couldn't stand it. And I thought, great, what am I going to do now? I moved to the front desk and I have been there ever since. I think that dentistry is the best business in the world. We get the benefit of being able to affect amazing change in patient lives, as well as work in an environment where if you are passionate, there's no limit to what can be achieved. Dr. Osman, stated, the last practice that I was with prior to sale to a DSO, the doctor was doing 3.6 million, and we took that practice to being on track to $6 million at the time of sale, which was just a few short years later. There's a number of reasons that things like that happen. It's being laser focused on what you want to achieve, seeking advice from the best people in the business that you can surround yourself with, and learn from them. So I feel extraordinarily blessed for the people that I have been able to work with, and the incredible CE that has been gifted to me that's allowed me to work with offices and affect wonderful change. So I'm very excited to be here tonight, and we're going to talk about, as Dr. Osman said, just some gems things that I think practices typically underestimate the value of placing an important focus on these things. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is helping your front desk team master the new patient call. One thing that is very painful for me when I walk into offices, and it's almost a disease now. I walk into offices and I can literally stand there and I can see the dollars dropping through the floor, and being able to capture this revenue and turn it into increased patient growth, increased case acceptance, is exciting. And if you can get your team really on fire about the importance of the new patient phone call, it's going to make a marked difference in your bottom line. I think it's very important to work on defining what your new patient call looks like and sounds like, because this is truly, I believe, the key to successful repetition and having your front desk team understand what is at stake with these opportunities, and it's imperative. Most doctors don't realize that any marketing dollars that you are spending to make your phones ring, many of them, if not majority of them, are being lost by poorly handled phone calls. The phone call is a process that should always be the same. It is very, very structured. The only thing that changes is the patient story. I have always recommended working with a new patient intake sheet that walks the team through the call process in a very specific pattern, ensuring that we're hitting all of the necessary elements and touch points of that call, that we're obtaining the vital information on the patient's situation, concerns, and desires. And this allows us to predictably convert the call to a scheduled patient who attends an appointment. I think the most important thing during the new patient phone call that is unfortunately missing in so many interactions is the active listening process, which is mandatory in creating rapport with that potential patient. Recording the vital information that the patients are sharing with us is the ultimate goal. But being able to keep on track with that tool of an intake sheet is something that I would recommend for any doctor to implement in the practice. After a new patient phone call that's effective, there shouldn't be any reason for anyone in that office to ask, "So why are you here today?" I don't think that there is anything more frustrating than when a front desk team is focused on collecting all of this important information that is going to allow you to grow a relationship with a patient and really make them feel heard. And I hear them seated by a clinical team member, whether it's an assistant or a hygienist, and say, "So why are you here today?" I feel as though we have built up credibility on the front end and we just lost the credibility on the back end. So I think it's really important for your team to understand why we are collecting this information and how we are collecting this information. And what the patient is going to experience is that they are going to actually feel as though they were listened to, and that we didn't robotically just collect the regular information, the name, the phone number, what is your insurance carrier. These details are obviously important at some point, but it is not the powerful information that we need. Um, so initially during that new patient phone call, we have about 30 seconds to connect with that patient on an emotional level by talking to them about their pain points, their past dental experience, whether they have anxiety about seeing the dentist, all of these things that really matter. To me, the last question I'm going to ask a patient, and we'll walk through my new patient intake sheet at, when I'm done with this. The last patient question that I ask, is there any insurance that we'll be processing for this visit? Building the relationship can actually motivate a patient to seek out of network dental care because they sense that there's a difference in the practice that they're talking to. And guaranteed, nobody has ever asked them the type of questions that they experience when we're on the phone with them, or even minimally expressed any interest in them as a person. The calls to the healthcare offices are generic, impersonal. They are highly dissatisfying. So set the expectation for your team and make the commitment to welcome your patients in a different way. And knowing that building, rapport is key. How do we offer that different experience? I think the most important thing on any phone call is to ascertain if you are speaking to a new patient. And there are many ways we can do this. Have you been to the office before? When did you last? My favorite phrase is, when did you last see Dr. Osman? Because immediately I'm going to find out the patient's going to, oh, I'm sorry, this is my new, oh, I've never been there before. As soon as I hear that phrase or I've identified that I have a new patient on the line, everything else stops around me. It doesn't matter what else is going on in the office. I go into active listening mode, and this patient has my undivided attention, and I know what my assignment is. The first thing that I say once I know I have a new patient on the line, let me be the first to welcome you to our practice. My name is Christine, and I'm going to take care of you today. I I am probably the worst customer when I approach any medical facility because I expect people are going to treat me the way I treat our patients. So it's ultimately dissatisfying, and I think that it's a very special way to welcome a patient and let them right from the get-go know that they're talking to somewhere different. Um, Once we've identified it's a new patient, we are going to go into that active discovery mode of what the patient's needs are. Um, my go-to question, again, to sort of differentiate us from other practices is, are you having a dental concern or is it time for a thorough exam and cleaning? Just that use of the word thorough, plants something in their mind that makes them think, have I had a thorough dental exam before? I just think that there's something about that wording that just, tweaks the patient's interest and again, lets them realize that they're potentially speaking to something very different. If they have a specific concern, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start probing the history and their current condition by identifying what their pain points are. Um, and by pain point, I'm referring to the physical and emotional difficulties that patient is experiencing. The questions that I use to accomplish this is, how long has it been since your last dental visit? This is going to help me understand, is this a person that is potentially phobic and is, has avoided care for years? Um, we will ask questions like, how does this situation, affect you day to day? I want to find out, is this patient able to eat? Are they, avoiding going out because they don't have, teeth in the front of their mouth? Is it affecting their self-image? How does the discomfort make them feel? And then another question that I think is very important is to ask them, what is it that made you call today? I think that we need to understand, has their pain level increased? Perhaps they have a social function coming up that, they understand they need to take control of the dental health and get help. But all of these questions help us sort of walk the patient through their journey and really get an understanding of the things that matter for them. Um, and, we take all of this information and we disseminate it to the team. And I would ask you to imagine what it would mean to a patient if they were then greeted by the clinical team who actually accurately restated the patient's chief concern that they shared with us at the beginning of the call. And this person shows emotional empathy to them and then makes them understand that we know how this has been affecting them, and then offers the reassurance that, what, we're going to help you today. These are things that just don't happen in a patient life, whether it's a medical setting, whether it's a dental setting, but truly connecting with people, and giving them the opportunity of knowing that the information they shared the first time they reached out to this office has now been shared by the people that are going to be caring to the people that are going to be caring for them. I think it is absolutely invaluable, and nothing puts me personally up a tree more than when this work is done on the front end. And again, it's very generically handled. Oh, what can we do for you today? It's powerful information that we've been given. And the team needs to understand why we're collecting these key details. They need to review that intake sheet prior to bringing the patient into the room. And these details should be used by the entire team during the appointment to not only reinforce their treatment needs, but also to help the team deal with objections when it comes time to close a case, no matter how big or how small. We could be talking about multiple composite fillings. We could be talking about possibly a large span bridge. We could be talking about a full mouth reconstruction or cosmetic work. But no matter what the case is, we need to come back and use this information because what percentage of the time does a patient come up to the front desk and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to call you to book? We need to bring them back to their pain. We need to take them back in their journey, and we need to help them move forward in the care that we so, dearly know they need. If you're successful implementing a process like this and your team really values what the process is, it will exponentially complement your exceptional patient experience that you should be committed to providing. Again, just pull that revenue into your practice and let you grow and prosper. So I'll talk a little bit about my new patient intake sheet now. Again, the key phrase, as soon as I know I've got a new patient on the line, let me be the first to welcome you to the practice. My name is Christine, and I'm going to take care of you today. The first information I want to get, the patient's proper name, first and last name. The second most imperative piece of information that we need to get is, and this is the phrasing that we use, in case we get disconnected, may I have your best contact number? There are several reasons that this is so essential. You know, uh, First of all, um, it's information we need to collect. I think the most important reason we need it is that if for any reason that teammate is unsuccessful in converting this new patient call, we now have a way to reach back out to them. And what I've trained my front desk team to do is to come to me with this patient intake sheet if the call has not been converted. We talk about what happened. We talk about where maybe the conversation went awry, and there can be 1,000 reasons for it. But minimally, it gives me an opportunity if there was a clinical question they didn't feel they answered effectively, or if they didn't deal with an insurance question properly. I can call them back and say, Mrs. Smith, my name is Christine. I'm calling from SPF Dental Care. I know you spoke with Stephanie and she just brought your information to me. She felt that she didn't answer your questions perhaps in the way that she should have. Is there any way that I can help you today? And it just gives me that opportunity to use, my years of skill to potentially turn that phone call around. So get that new patient phone number, because if it's not converted the first time, many times it can be turned around. Next question I'm going to ask, are you having a dental concern, or is it time for a thorough exam or cleaning? Immediately lets me identify what I'm dealing with. If I have a patient that has a concern, I want to jump on that pain. I want to find out what they're experiencing, how urgent is the call. We have a question on here. Does this dental issue negatively impact your quality of life? You will be amazed at the information patients share with you. Um, uh, I'm sorry, I'm just reading a post up there. You'll be amazed in the information that they share with you, and the depth that you can get into understanding, how a patient is being affected by difficulties in their life. We do have, and the interesting thing about this intake sheet is that there are cues to our front desk people on the verbal skills that we have reinforced with them, because calls can be very, very complex and they can take you in different directions that you're not expecting. This intake sheet brings you back to where you need to be. We go into the feel, felt, found, which is nothing new, but again, um, just reinforcing, Mrs. Smith, I really understand how you feel, and I speak to patients every day that have these same concerns. They felt that, they were at a place where they didn't know, how to proceed, and it was affecting them on a daily life. And what they found when they came to our office is that they could be comfortable, their dentistry could be satisfied in a way that, brought them back to health. And they now look forward to their dental visit. So that feel, felt, found is so, so powerful to let patients know that there's a direction, and there's a momentum to moving you towards care. So we are going to define the new patient. We're going to define the date and time of the appointment. identify who referred them to the practice, because that's a great opportunity. They've been credentialed already. We want to, I'm going to be honest, I many times don't know who the referral source is, but I go, oh my gosh, you know what? Cindy Adams, she is so amazing. What a wonderful family. And, they've been so good to us. And I know how much they appreciate the level of care we provide. I don't know them. I may be new to the practice, but the thing is, it's a common bond that we can share with the patient. Is this friendship or relationship? Um, Now, it can seem like this should all take a lot of time, and I think that the most unproductive thing is when sometimes front desk teams can think that a long new patient call is a successful new patient call. All of this should take them no more than 2 minutes. And it takes training and it takes practice, but everybody can get this done in 2 minutes. Now, the last question, after I've given them the appointment, we've built the relationship, I know what their concerns are, the very last question I'm going to ask them, Mrs. Smith, is there any insurance that we're going to be processing for you? I take down the details, and obviously the question comes up, oh, do you take my insurance, or do you participate with my insurance? We're going to deal with that verbal skill when we talk about call reviews and verbiage, which is going to be my next segment. So hang on for that. But as you can see, just systematically walks us through. This phone call is the same every single time, just the patient story changes. So I hope that you find this interesting. I hope you find it effective, a potential effective tool for you to use in your practice. That is the biggest place that dollars are missed at the front desk, in my opinion. So I would be happy to share that new patient call intake sheet. If anybody would request that, you can certainly reach out. Um, are we prepared to go to the next segment, call reviews and verbiage? Call reviews are something that can be absolutely enlightening. We're good to go, Dr. Osman?
Yes, perfect. Kirsten, can you hear me or no?
Yes, I can now. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay, call reviews. Any type of software application that allows your phone calls to be recorded is absolutely worth any investment that it requires of you. Um, you need to develop the skills in your front desk team so that they are going to become an exceptional patient concierge. During the interview process, you need to describe the position to them in that way. They need to know that your expectation is that they are going to be receiving that Ritz-Carlton service at your front desk. These type of skills are not innate to people, and being able to help your team understand how vital their contribution to this process is, and how much their contribution affects the overall success of the office is paramount. The ability to master these skills, by your front desk team will, it affects your practice reputation, which in turn directly impacts the purpose of your practice, which is to provide an exceptional patient experience. Training your team to use elevated language is imperative in converting phone calls. And it is a make or break situation. And again, will ensure that you have an opportunity to capitalize on those marketing efforts that you are making. This type of training and implementing a call review program, it is not a one-off training effort. It is an ongoing training process that reinforces the commitment to providing outstanding customer service. Typically, with an initial training in this regard, it's very important to define the goals of what the call review training, what the purpose of it is to offer the highest level of communication to our patients. It is. I didn't just have a blackout, but I'm not sure what happened. Anyways, it is going. Purpose is to equip the team with skills needed to represent the practice effectively. And to give them the tools to handle difficult calls as well. You again have the responsibility to provide a picture of what is expected from them when handling calls. Professionalism at all times, even during frustrating phone calls. concierge level service to patients, and the goal of never letting a patient hear a no is an interesting concept, and it's something that I work with my teams to understand. Um, there are many reasons that we can't do things, but learning how to always help a patient hear a yes is it is something that will impact your practice in ways that you can't anticipate, and it's extremely powerful when the team understands that. Um, the most important thing in implementing a call review process is that you need to ensure that it is a positive and collaborative experience. Um, when you listen to phone calls by your front desk team, it can be very frustrating and very disappointed when you hear some of the exchanges that can take place. I can't stress enough that in the call review sessions, they have to be supportive training sessions, because to keep the staff engaged, we can't have them feeling embarrassed or berated, because that accomplishes nothing. And I've dealt with enough offices and through networking groups and mastermind groups, and I've spoken to the team whose doctors have gone, to the dark side, during these sessions, because again, these are your dollars, and all you hear is how they are slipping away. But please ensure that it is just a positive experience for the team. Um, Tendency can be for the trainees to be muddled with emotion because we're upset after hearing these calls, and no one more than me. Listening to the calls is frustrating, and you have to expect that your team is going to have setbacks. Not every call, even when you've gone through the training, is going to be handled perfectly. I think we need to be sensitive. We don't know what was going on around them at the time of the call. The front desk is a very busy place, and the team is typically handling 5 things at once, while trying to communicate effectively, utilize scripted responses, and maintain a pleasant demeanor for the person who's on the phone. So it's very challenging what we're asking them to manage. So we need to be mindful of that and be sensitive to it. And our job is to unemotionally reinforce the positive outcomes that we are looking for, and to offer very high praise for their successes along the way. This type of management skill is not natural for most of us, and it requires maturity and professionalism on our part. Um, Typically, I suggest beginning with group trainings, because it's a little bit more fun to go through this process um, when we have a group together. Work with the team and grow excitement around the positive endeavor. I like to begin with role playing very straightforward call scenarios to give them an opportunity to learn the verbiage, and become comfortable with it. The team should rehearse the verbiage out loud to themselves, whether they're driving, whether at home at night or driving to work in the car. They need to rehearse it, and it has to roll off their tongue like it is absolutely second nature. And, when you're doing these group trainings too, make it fun with ridiculous patient situations. Like, I mean, I really like to get my team laughing about this, because patients can be ridiculous and we can have fun, throughout this process. But there needs to be some lightheartedness about it, because it's a very serious, difficult training to get through. After the system is learned and implemented, I suggest moving on to individual training sessions. I typically do it on a biweekly basis. It's no more than 30 minutes per team member at the front desk. And I usually consider offering a small incentive or gifts for a job well done. We can, purchase lunch for the people that are having their call trainings, or, have a little gift of chocolate at the end of their individual session, just as a thank you and a positive incentive, so that there's something that they look forward to about these days, because the conversations can be tough. So when you are reviewing your calls, be prepared that you will probably be shocked by what you hear in the beginning. And it again, I have to stress, cannot become a negative platform for criticism. What I suggest is that whoever's handling these calls, whether it's the doctor or the office manager, depending on how your office is set up, I suggest that the doctor or office manager and the teammate select 2 recorded phone calls to bring to the meeting. One positive that they were really proud of, and then the second call, perhaps something that they were challenged with. And you do the same, a call that you thought that they handled magnificently, and then a call that you would like to review and role play to see how it might have been handled differently. This is where the learning happens, and it gives them an opportunity to, safely with you go through the process, work on their verbiage. And every time they replay a difficult situation, it's going to become ingrained in their minds. So they're going to handle that situation better the next time. Um, the role playing is something, yes, it's uncomfortable, but after you get through a couple of sessions, people know it's going to happen. You can joke about it, but it's the most powerful tool in being able to handle the calls differently. So why do call reviews matter? They matter because we need to understand that this process is going to bring dollars to your bottom line. And the truth is, you don't know what you don't know. And I certainly experienced that. The practice that I was working at, that we took to $6 million, we had this extraordinary phone training we went through. We're doing the biweekly trainings. We were preparing for sale. I backed off on the trainings. And because we tracked our new patient conversion, 2 months in a row, the conversion dropped significantly. I went home one weekend and I pulled up every unconverted patient phone call and I listened to it because I needed to understand what was happening with my team. And the examples that I'm going to share with you very shortly are actually from my team. And this was after we went through the call training. So you can never underestimate how important it is to keep on reinforcing this and not discontinue the training. Thankfully, we were able to turn things around. But the things that I heard on the phone, I was absolutely shocked to see how far my team had regressed. And I think that there's many factors that this can happen. You can have a new team member join the front desk and they start, exhibiting behavior that is not as, high level as we have decided we're going to operate. That can cause backsliding. And it just um, keeps us. I'm sorry. It can just take the team back, and we see backsliding. So it's a process that has to be ongoing, and it can't. You can't back off. It's just too important. And unfortunately, human nature is to do what's easy, not what requires the most effort. And we are asking them to stay in a very high state of preparedness when they're on the phone and to be ready to have successful calls at all times. It's a lot to expect, but it has to be non-negotiable. So support, through the process, and it definitely pays off. So these are some examples I'm going to share with you. I hope you find them funny. It was absolutely mortifying, and it was a really, really hard day for me when I had to report back to my boss what I heard. We had a patient call with a question, and the team member felt unsure of the answer. It doesn't matter what the specific question was, but the answer that they gave was, "I'll have someone else call you back because I really don't want to waste your time." And I, first of all, never want a patient to think that we're not equipped to take care of you expediently and deal with things. But my suggested, when I sat down with my team, my suggested, verbiage was, "I want to ensure that I provide you with accurate information. May I check on this and give you a call back?" I mean, it just could have been handled so much differently without that negative connotation of wasting their time. Um, Another example, patient called and they wanted an appointment for the current week. I'd like to make an appointment for this week. The response that was given, "I don't have anything this week. If we have cancellations, I could let you know." And again, there's a big no and putting up a barrier. All of these things are putting barriers in front of patients. And I guess, that's a big concept to absorb, is that we don't want to put barriers in front of people coming into our office. The very first, so my suggested response, and we sat down as a team and went over all of these options. The first appointment we have is on such and such a date, but we do have changes in our schedule every day. May I suggest that we hold this appointment for you, and I can call you I can put you at the very top of our ASAP list. You will be the first to know about your preferred appointment availability. This now gives the patient hope, and we've also secured the appointment, and it lets them know they're right at the top of our list. What patient wouldn't want to hear they're at the top of our list? And now I'm bulking up my ASAP list to fill same day, cancellations if should they happen. I see a question up here.
You can leave your questions for the end, Christine.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. A patient called stating they were new to the practice and wanted to schedule an appointment. The response by the front desk person was, "Yeah, sure." And this is after months of training. How about let me be the first to welcome you to the practice. My name is Christine, and I'm going to take care of you today. We had a new patient call that had a heavy accent. The response was, "I can't understand you." Instead of, "My apology, our connection was breaking up. Could you please repeat that?" These are all little verbal skills that they can just tuck away for these difficult times when you have to say something, but you don't know what to say. I had a new patient call and provided a name, which was unusual. The appointment coordinator actually laughed and said, "You're going to have to spell that for me." And I was embarrassed. I felt horrible for that patient that they had experienced that type of response on the phone. How about, "Can you please spell that for me so I can record it correctly?" I had a patient call who was new to the practice and they would like to make an appointment. "My computer's down. I'm going to have to call you back." The patient inquired, "Do you have any appointments available before the end of the year?" "I have to check my computer. I've got to give you a call back." I mean, these are the things you don't know until you know. And, once staff knows that somebody is listening to phone calls, there's going to be a remarkable turnaround in how they are experiencing the call. So I just think that, be mindful of this process, consider it as, a value to your practice. And again, it is a worthwhile investment to have a software package that records those phone calls so that you have the power to know what's going on with your front desk team and to make positive adjustments that are going to, again, affect your bottom line. So that's all I've got.
Christine, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Amazing as always. And guys, I really want to take the last, I believe we're coming up on 42 minutes right now. We have about 18 minutes left. Let's take the next 10 minutes to walk you through everything that Christine said, how we do it in our practice.
Uh-oh. I think he's gone.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. His internet is let me wait for him. Great job, Christine.
Oh, well, thank you. I love to share. And again, been gifted just such incredible training and the resources that I've had available at my disposal. It's always a pleasure to share ideas and concepts.
Okay, I think he is ready to join now. Okay.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. So I was just saying, thank you so much, Christine. Wonderful job. I want to spend the next few minutes kind of re-emphasizing everything that Christine said, but we're going to role play. We're going to tell you exactly how we do it in our practice and how we create that exceptional concierge experience. And I think I'm just going to wrap everything back together at the end on how you really take your practice to that next level and, how we were able to get to 100 new patients a month. And this title of the slide, The Best Marketing Company. Can you guys see my screen, Dr. Ashley? I just started sharing it.
Yes.
And the best marketing company that exists is the investment that you make in your team on creating that exceptional patient experience. That's the best marketing company, guys. And kind of like what Christine said, there's a lot of amazing companies on this group. There's a lot of amazing companies that can help you get new patients in through the door. If you do not have a buttoned up experience, it doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't matter if you're seeing 10 new patients a month or 100, because I'm telling you guys, you can, when we first opened our office, you know, since the beginning, Dr. Ashley, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you. We've been seeing over 100 new patients a month. We don't spend any money on marketing, but we've been able to create this unbelievable patient experience where every patient that leaves our office, either they're writing us literally paragraphs of reviews on Google, or they're telling their family, like, oh my God, I came to this office and this was an experience unlike any other. So I'm going to walk you guys through that experience. I want you guys to visualize it. And I'll tell you guys what we do and how we've been able to scale the practice to seeing over 100 new patients a month without any marketing. Now, I'm not telling people don't do marketing. Christine and I were actually just in a meeting last week, and we want to see more new patients in our practice. So we're about to hire a marketing agency to allow us to take it to the next level, because we have even bigger aspirations and bigger goals for our practice as we continue to expand it and grow it. And before I get into it, I want to share with you guys a very clear example of what I mean by that concierge experience. Two brands that everybody knows: Walmart, okay, and Whole Foods, or Trader Joe's, depending on where you live in the country. Okay, when you walk into a Trader Joe's or when you walk into a Whole Foods and when you ask someone, "Hey, where's the cheese?" that team member will take you. They will walk you over to the cheese aisle. They will ask you, what type of cheese are you looking for? They Once you tell them what you're looking for, they'll assist you in. They'll either take it off of the shelf and they'll give it to you, or they're going to point it out and tell you, here it is. And then they'll ask you, is there anything else that I can do for you? Right? That's that, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's experience, right? And then you go to Walmart, which, by the way, Walmart is one of the biggest, largest, most successful companies in the entire world. But then you go into you go into a Walmart store and you tell them, where's the cheese? You might get a question like, what is cheese, right? And the difference is that the level that these organizations focus on treating their customers and again, acquiring that specific clientele that they want, it's all about how they present their business to their customers. So as soon as we're done with that amazing phone call, we got the patient really excited about coming into our office. They come into our practice. We do something called the office tour. We show them a tour of the practice. The first room that we take them to in our practice is the sterilization room. This was even before COVID. We go over our entire sterilization process. We tell them we put everything in the ultrasonic, then we wash everything in the sink. We have a medical grade dishwasher. We show them how we put everything in cassettes, then we wrap it, we put it in the dishwasher. We take it out, we wrap it, we put it in the autoclave. We show them how there's different markings on the cassettes when they come out of the autoclave to show them what it looks like before and after. And then we tell them these instruments are only open in front of you in the operatory. You will never walk into an operatory and you see an open bag or an open cassette. Everything is open in front of the patient. Once the patient is done getting the tour of the office, we have something called a treatment plan coordinator. That can be just your front desk, it could be your receptionist, it could be your office manager. I know with startups, you guys don't have that many employees in the beginning. It's okay. Anyone, just walk the patient around. We bring them into our consultation room and we do something called a coffee talk. The coffee talk is building on everything that we did with them on the initial phone conversation, but now we're getting to know the patient. Hey, Dr. Ashley, thank you so much for coming to our practice today. Can you tell me a little bit about why you're here today? When was the last time you saw a dentist? Is there anything that is concerning you about your smile? This is a time for you guys to listen and really keep your ears open and write everything down. And the reason why the coffee talk is so important is exactly what Christine was talking about. Every patient in America is used to going into a medical doctor's office, and the front desk asks them, why are you here? My stomach hurts. Okay, have a seat, fill out your forms. Then the nurse calls them in. Why are you here today? My stomach hurts. Okay, no problem. Somebody will be with you shortly. Physician assistant walks in. Why are you here today? My stomach hurts. Doctor walks in 30 minutes later. Why are you here today? And the patient's like, did none of you guys talk to each other as to why I'm here today? So the idea of the coffee talk is once we get to know the patient, once we ask them all of these questions, when we're asking the patient, what are things that you would like to change about your smile, if anything? The
patient might tell you, well, you know what, I really don't like the way my teeth look. I would love to have a straighter smile. I'd love to have a brighter smile. I'd love to have, whatever it is. When our team is writing those things down, once we have all that information, we get to know the patient. The treatment plan coordinator or the assistant or whoever it is that just did that interview walks the patient over to the hygiene room and they do something called the handoff. They introduce that patient to the hygienist. Hey, Marianne, this is Dr. Ashley. She's new to our practice today. She actually just moved here from California. It's her first time at our practice. She actually just came back from vacation in France a couple of weeks ago. She just had a newborn baby. It's a really nice, exciting time in her life. Just so you know, some of the things that have been bothering her are she's saying that she has some pain on the lower right. She doesn't have any phobias of the dental practice or the dentist in general. And one thing that has been on her mind recently has been getting her teeth straighter. So then the hygienist introduces him or herself. They get accustomed to the patient. They'll do their X-rays if your hygienist does the X-rays, and then they'll start their cleaning. When the doctor is ready to come in for the exam, the hygienist now introduces the patient to the doctor. So now this patient feels like royalty. Oh my God, these people, they know me. They know who I am. They know what I'm here for. And prior to the doctor coming in, if they shared with me that, hey, Ashley is interested in getting her teeth straight, I no longer have to now try to sell her Invisalign or braces. Hey, Ashley, I know you mentioned to our team that getting your teeth nice and straight is something that's really important to you. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Have you considered getting braces or orthodontia in the past? And now it's no longer me selling them braces, and it's just me telling them, hey, we have an amazing orthodontist in our practice. I'm going to set you up with a free consultation, and we're going to make sure that we can provide you with that exceptional comprehensive care that you're looking for. Okay, the art of treatment plan. And again, guys, these are things that we can spend hours on. Like, I'm just trying to paint you guys broad brushstrokes that the way you handle the patient, the way you spend, the way you make them feel, that is how you grow your practice to $1 million a year. The art of treatment planning. One of the things that I learned from some of the best practices that I've ever worked in is something that I used to do that was wrong. When you're coming in and you're treatment planning a patient, first of all, we're using all of these big terms. You need an SRP. What is an SRP? What is a deep cleaning? A patient doesn't even know what a deep cleaning is, right? So one of my mentors told me, whenever you're trying to tell the patient that they need an SRP, let's break it down to them in a very simple and basic way that they can understand it. So that, because they look at the price of a Profi, $100 or $150, and then they look at the cost of an SRP, it could be almost $1,000. It doesn't make any sense in their head. So we tell them, you right now have a very serious bacterial infection inside of your mouth. And we go over the X-rays with them. We take some intraoral pictures. And I tell them, I want you to think about it like this, Mrs. Smith. Imagine if I told you that you have a flesh-eating bacteria inside of your mouth. Is that something that you would take seriously? Or if you had a flesh-eating bacteria on your hand, is that something that you would take seriously? Of course, they're going to say, yes, that's something that we're going to take seriously. Well, that's what you have inside of your mouth. You have bacteria that's eating away at your gum. It's eating away at your bone. And if we do not stop the progression of this bacteria, unfortunately, you might end up losing all of your teeth. Now, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is that, unfortunately, once you have periodontal disease, there is no cure for periodontal disease. But the good news is, instead of it going 80 miles an hour, once we enter you into the proper care, we're going to be able to slow it down to about 5 miles an hour. So we're going to be able to help you hold onto your teeth for the rest of your life, as long as you come in and you maintain your teeth, and we can be able to get it under control for you, right? Whenever I'm talking to a patient, I'm never standing and looking down at them. I bring my stool, I bring my chair, and I'm sitting at their same level. I'm looking at them directly in the eye. I'm always using their name. I'm always careful. Everybody in our team is always very careful on making sure that they're using the patient's name. This is a human being that's sitting in front of you guys. It's not just a patient. Always use their name. Once they're done with my exam, then we have something called the gift at my practice. And this is something that I'm a big believer in. We spend all of our marketing dollars, Dr. Ashley, or at least in the beginning, reinvesting it into the patient. So for the first about 18 months of our practice, I was buying these Oral-B Genius toothbrushes from Henry Schein. It was costing me $70, and it comes in this electric toothbrush. It's called the Oral-B Genius. It's very high-end, really nice packaging. And once we're done giving the patient this amazing experience, the hygienist then tells the patient, one of the things that we prescribe every single patient in our practice is an electric toothbrush. So when the hygienist is saying that, the patient is like, "Oh, all right, fine. Oh, here's the sales pitch. I knew this was too good to be true. The sales pitch is finally coming. These guys are trying to sell me an electric toothbrush, right?" And as we're showing them how to use the electric toothbrush, we show them how to use it on the typodont. Once we're done, the hygienist will then tell the patient, "Dr. Osman is so committed to clinical excellence and making sure that we can absolutely make sure that you have optimal oral health. This is a gift from our practice to you." By the way, these brushes, they retail for about $150. So, and they go to every other dentist, they're getting a $99 or 99-cent brush or like a little goodie bag or whatever. They're coming to our practice, and when they go home and they're Googling it, this is a $150, $200 electric toothbrush that they just got for free. And then we tell them every 6 months when you come in, we're going to give you the replacement heads free of charge so that we can maintain the brush for you. There is articles written by Harvard and by so many different organizations that tell you when you give someone something that they did not expect, the level of appreciation and the level of happiness that they achieve is really second to none. And it further exemplifies to our patients our commitment to their dental excellence. Now, from a financial perspective, that patient did not require any work. I'm telling you guys, that visit is an absolute wash. You will not make any money on that visit whatsoever. But if the patient needs any clinical work, if the patient needs any sort of treatment plan, your treatment plan acceptance will shoot up so high. And for me, I justify it because I'm like, if I'm spending $5,000 a month trying to do various marketing or whatever, if I invest that into getting electric toothbrushes every month, when you go home with that electric toothbrush, and again, I'm not saying don't do marketing. This should be part of your marketing budget. But when the patient is now going home and they're coming home with this amazing electric toothbrush, and they're like, "Oh my God, where'd you get that from?" "I got it from my dental office." "How much was that?" "It was free." Now that entire family is going to come to my practice, which is what we see happen over and over and over and over again. But the key thing is that we never advertise, "Come to our practice for a free electric toothbrush," because that's not why we want patients to come to our practice. This is a gift we give our patients as a surprise because we always want to link it back that the reason we do this is not to bring you into our practice so that you can get a free electric toothbrush. We don't want those types of patients. We want patients that are looking for an exceptional clinical experience, that an experience that they have received in our practice that they have never gotten at any medical facility ever in their life before. There's so much to talk about. I mean, I can share so many ideas with you guys about just different marketing things. Facebook, we send pizza to the local police department, fire department every couple of months just to tell them our thanks. We don't want anything from them. In return, they go and post about us on their social media pages. People love those who support the community. You know, we're always doing raffles on Facebook. All the other dentists in the area, when they're posting on their local Facebook groups, they're like, "Hey, come to my practice." We never say that. Every single month, we're doing a free raffle. "Hey, we're thinking of a number between 1 and 1,000. The first person that guesses it right in the next 24 hours, we're giving away 2 free movie tickets." We're always in an act of giving. We're never asking people to come to our practice. We're just always giving back to the community. We're always giving back to our patient base. And once you've been able to establish that, you will stand out and you will become so unique that getting the 100 new patients a month is it's not going to be something that you're like trying to figure out. And that's what I really wanted, like the entire topic of this call to be, and this topic to be, is that there is no handbook. You should be absolutely obsessed about how can I make my patient experience absolutely second to none. That's what all your effort should go. You're the CEO of your dental practice. How do I wow my patients so that when they leave this practice, they do not stop talking about me? I know we're coming up close on time, Dr. Ashley. I don't know if we have any questions that the audience, I think I saw one come in before. We can answer them quickly. I just want to be respectful of everybody's time. I'm sure we're going to have more, of these sessions. And, Christine, I'd love to bring her to Napa with me, and anybody that's coming, they can, pick her brain. She's just so incredibly smart and intelligent. And there's just so much to learn. There's so much to know, guys. And that's why I wanted you guys, anyone who's not getting these results, don't feel bad. It's okay. And you can turn it around and you can do better. And like I said, I'm more than happy to help you offline. We'll be sharing the call script with all of you guys. And just thank you guys so much.
Oh, that was so informative. Thank you so much for your time. It hold on. Did you say something, Kareem? I
No, no,
didn't.
I'm still here. I was
Oh,
saying,
okay.
do we have any quick questions that we want to answer? Did anybody?
Um, my internet cut out for a little bit, so I will.
I
Um,
think one of the questions was, do you take a deposit to reserve a new patient
oh
appointment?
yes,
We don't.
yes.
We do not do that. We do not create any barriers to a new patient. We try to really limit telling people like, hey, if you don't show up, we're gonna bill you. Like, if we give them one time as a courtesy, if they do it a second time and it's not really a valid excuse, then we might, tell them in a very nice and professional way. But we try not to make any barriers to entry for people coming into our practice. And over time, like I said, guys, you're going to filter out those bad patients and you're going to start attracting the quality patients that you want. You know, people that shop at Apple, people that shop at Trader Joe's, people that shop at Whole Foods, they're going in for a very specific purpose. They want something exceptional. And those companies over time, building their brand, they attract people that are looking for something exceptional. And that's why I keep going back to just focus on making the experience exceptional. You'll naturally filter out the bad patients that, they'll just naturally filter their way out of your system.
I have a question for you. So if you're bringing in more than 100 new patients per month, what does that look like in terms of your schedule? Are you blocking out 90 minutes? How many providers do you have? Are you running them through doctor side, hygiene side? Yeah, give me all the deets.
In the beginning, believe it or not, I used to see all 100 new patients a month by myself. And I would be in the office till sometimes, I'm not even exaggerating, like 11 o'clock at night. After you're done, you still have to do all the administrative stuff, and it wasn't sustainable. What's cool about the practice that we've been able to build is it's a multi-specialty practice. We do not refer anything out, and that can be an entire conversation that you and I should have. I really
Yeah.
believe it, because that is how you build a practice that's value is so high, and patients are become so loyal. Patients want to come in for that continuity of care. They want to feel like everything that I need is at this practice. And I talk to a lot of doctors who are like, well, I want to bring an orthodontist or an oral surgeon, but I'm just not that busy. And there's so many cool things that I've helped a lot of people from this group, negotiate with those specialists on how they can make it work for a while to stick around while they build that specialist schedule. So every single person gets a 1 hour new hygiene appointment. If the treatment plan, we try to like put like when the treatment coordinators, like when the hygienist is doing their initial exam, we try to mark the treatment plans based on the level of what the hygienist thinks the complexity is. So a level 1 exam is just a quick, they might need a couple fillings or something. I know it's really quick. Level 3 is a patient that needs a full mouth rehab. If I'm running behind, we tell the patient, hey, Mr. Smith, obviously there's a lot going on. And I want to be able to really study your case. And I want to bring you in for a comprehensive treatment plan presentation to go over everything that we're going to need to be able to help you, restore your oral health. So that's the thing. Sometimes as doctors, we feel we're so rushed. I just have to give a treatment plan on the spot. Sometimes the treatment plan is wrong because we just rushed. You have 2 patients. One of them is numb. You have another patient, you're in the middle of a root canal. You have a limited that just walked in. This guy just, has like a full mouth rehab that you want a treatment plan. And guys, it's okay to just take a deep breath and tell the patient, Mr. Smith, there's so much that's going on here. I really want to study your case, and I want to set up a 30-minute session for you and I to go over your case. And when that patient feels like, oh my God, that doctor now just took the time to study my case, and when I'm presenting the treatment plan to them, they've never gotten that at another office before. So don't ever feel rushed that you just have to come up with a crazy treatment plan on the spot. It's okay to ask for more time. Having an amazing team, everything goes back to the team. I mean, Dr. Asha, I see you with Colin and your team. And I think that's what doctors really like. They spend money on all these ridiculous things. They go buy $100,000 scanner that they don't even freaking use. And I'm not against those things. I'm not against $100,000 CBCT, but don't skimp out on the things that matter. The things that make you money are the intangible things. Every single time when I'm done with one of my assistants in front of the patient. And I don't do this on purpose. I do this because I genuinely mean it. Thank you, Amanda, for helping me. Thank you, Chris, for taking care of this. I always thank my assistant in front of the patient. And I do because I'm genuinely grateful for the assistance that they just gave me. When I walk out of the room, you have no idea how many times that like the assistant would be like, the patient was like, does he always treat you guys this nice, or he's just doing that in front of the patients? Patients pick up on these things, and you can't be two-faced. That's the number one thing that a lot of doctors don't understand, is that your patients will pick up on your energy with your team. When you're not taking care of your team, when you're not respectful with your team, when you're not going above and beyond for your team, it's a huge turnoff for your patients. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how many CE courses you take. It doesn't matter. You know, it's the small things. But at the same time, you have to be really good clinically. That's why it's so hard being a dentist. You have to be a good clinician. You have to develop really good people skills. You have to know how to present treatment plan, because you're ultimately trying to get the patient to buy into whatever treatment that you want. And we don't say treatment plan. That's such a low, filthy word, treatment plan. We say this is your care plan. This is your care plan. We're going to present your care plan to you today. So wording, verbiage, everything that Christine was saying, it's the make it or break it. It's the difference between, good and great.
Agree. Couldn't agree more. That was so good. And that was, I mean, obviously Kareem is very passionate about this, and I'm sure we could have a mini residency on the things that you could teach us. So if you guys don't have any relatively quick questions, we will definitely be doing this again, and we can even break it down into topics. So today was a great introduction to the new patient phone call, and just your soft skills in general, and recording your calls and replaying it back so that the team can hear what went well and what needed some improvement. Yeah. So
Well,
thank you guys for joining.
I'll be uploading it, Dr. Ashley, so
Oh, great.
everybody can have access to that.
Thank you.
And like I said, I don't, I started off this way and I'm going to end it this way. If you're not seeing these numbers, don't ever make yourself feel bad. Um, it's okay. There's no business in the world that doesn't deal with crap. Every business in my office, we have crap that goes wrong all the time. It's just the nature of business, And when we go on social media and we see everybody running these awesome businesses and everything looks amazing, that's not reality. Things go wrong. They tell you shit happens, crap happens, and it's okay. And the last thing that I'm going to end with is, learn how to dance in the rain. Just take a moment, slow down, take a deep breath, and understand that it's part of the process. Every single successful person, they have to go through crap. It's just the way it is, And don't be afraid to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your practice. Even if you made mistakes, if your contractor screwed you over, if you pay extra for your plumbing, or you paid extra for your cabinets, it doesn't matter. Don't dwell on the past. Focus on what you can do now in the present to turn the ship around. I love you guys all so much. I genuinely mean it. Like I said, Dr. Ashley, we're going to be doing a lot of these. If anybody needs any help, if anybody's struggling, more than happy to, assist you or guide you in any way. Patricia, who do you recommend for team training? I've been fortunate to just hire awesome people like Christine to really help me. There's so many people that I can recommend to you. There's a lot of people on this group, a lot of professionals. I'll be sure to text some of them to help you if you're looking to train your team and take it to the next level.
All right. That was an awesome hour and 15, Kareem. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll definitely do this again. And you have achieved so much success, and I mean, we all can see why. So I can't wait to have you in Napa, and I'm excited to meet Christine. It's going to be a great time. And so Kareem is going to be representing Casper, guys. And we just started using Casper in our office, and it's been a delight. And we'll talk more about that when we have more time. So I know it's late where you're at. Yeah, so we still have 10 more spots. So if you guys are interested in meeting Kareem and hanging out with a bunch of us in wine country in November, make sure to Colin will post the link because Colin is amazing. And yes, it's all about the team. I couldn't agree more.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, Dr. Ashton. Good night, everybody.
Thank you guys. Good night, everyone. Take care.